Despite increased road safety campaigning, festive season road deaths have increased. The 2018 preliminary statistics paint a shocking picture. Deaths have increased from 1,527 in 2017 to 1,612 last year. Transport Minister Blade Nzimande wants a crackdown of centres issuing fraudulent licenses and harsher penalties for drunken drivers. Let's give you more now. We are joined by ENCA's Govan Whittles, who attended a briefing by the minister. So 1,612 people lost their lives, Govan, and it doesn't seem like there was much improvement in terms of the breakdown in the provinces.
Yeah, Tulasizo, certainly not much improvement in the provinces. This year, KwaZulu-Natal recording the most crashes and fatalities. 267 crashes happening in KwaZulu-Natal and 328 people having died in those crashes. That's the biggest number of people that has died in a single province. And as you mentioned, there has been an increase over the festive period, at least in road deaths, also in road crashes. But the minister does believe that they're making some headway, particularly due to the interventions that he has spearheaded, things like the new breathalyzer that they've been testing out here in Gauteng, other parts of the country as well, and then their 24-hour deployment for roadblocks across the country. He says this has yielded significant results. And one of the results that this has yielded has also been the investigative capacity, which he has increased, which has led to the discovery of all these fraudulent licensing centers that you had been referring to. So for the next 12 months, Minister Blade Nzimande says that they'll try to target these licensing centers, which they were able to point out over the festive season. And this is all in a bid to deal with traffic officials who are corrupt. He had a lot to say about how they impact on the increase of the road fatalities during the festive season, but also how they impact on making the road a less safer place by issuing these licenses fraudulently and in some cases issuing fraudulent licenses. But let's have a look at what he said.
As we intend to be tough on those who are using our roads recklessly, including through drunken driving, we also intend to be tough on our officers who receive bribes or who ask for bribes. We cannot win this battle by only focusing on the road users without focusing on our own traffic law enforcement officers. As a matter of fact, since I became Minister of Transport, this is one big complaint. People joke about it. You know, that they can afford to break the rules as long as they've got a spare 1,000 rands in the pocket. They know that they're going to negotiate their way through. We are not saying that all our road traffic enforcement officers are bad, but we do have this as a very serious problem.
Tulasizo, that's Blade Nzimande, Transport Minister, talking about how they plan to deal with corruption among the different traffic officials across the country. So that was one of the interventions that he announced. But you'd see the other big talking point was really around drunk driving. And the department has some radical proposals in this regard. As yet, there haven't been any final decisions made, but what they're proposing is imposing a minimum sentence for drunk driving in South Africa. As it stands, there is no minimum sentence, and the fines or jail time is handed out at the discretion of the different judiciary officials. And he also wants to make it more difficult for these drunk drivers who are caught to get bail. So at the moment, if you're caught being drunk or you're over the limit, you are taken to jail or you're arrested on the spot. But if you have 1,500 rand, you're able to pay the fine immediately and essentially get released as early as 10 minutes after being arrested. These are two big issues for the department, along with these fraudulent licenses. And if we judge by what Blade Nzimande said today, it seems as if they intend to be very serious in implementing these proposals over the next year.
So that appears to be the short to medium term interventions, but there's a longer term intervention. He wants to see more South Africans using rail transport, public transport in the future, which in a way actually echoes what has been said in the ANC's election manifesto over the weekend, making rail central to the public transportation system.
Indeed, Blade Nzimande believes this is the only way that we could dramatically decrease the number of road crashes, also the number of of fatalities on the road. It's worth pointing out that from the number of people that died this year, about 32% of those people were pedestrians who were killed on the road, and 12% of those people were actually killed in hit-and-run scenarios. So the road clearly playing a very prominent role when it comes to the festive season, and particularly the road deaths. But Blade Nzimande's ideal situation would be a train which runs from Johannesburg to Polokwane and is able to ferry people along that line. And as he said today, if it takes 10 years to build such a railway line and a train with the capacity to take people fast enough, then let it be done. It seems as if this is the long-term strategy for the department, but as we know, as yet, those plans are not in the pipeline.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Governor. Just yesterday, you were reporting about the problems that the Gautrain has been facing, which is a flagship train project. And now we're told that train and rail transport is actually a key to reducing the fatalities on our roads.